Dare I say this is probably the biggest offseason for this franchise. Listen, you just had a quarterback in Deshaun Watson who we all knew was going to bring us a Super Bowl. It wasn't a matter of, of if, it was a matter of when. Now you screwed the pooch at that point. You're now looking for another head coach. The only person that that we've given a second interview to is Jonathan Gannon, the DC from the Eagles. Very excited about the possibility of bringing him. I think when you have a top 10 defense and you're one of the last teams in sacks, the scheme's working. Maybe you need some better players in that scheme, and then we do know, the Eagles are just horrible at picking players. D'Amico Ryans, I am on the train. I am hopping off the Brian Flores. D'Amico Ryans is someone who is making a name for himself. Another great defensive, game plan against the Green Bay Packers over there, up there in Lambeau. That is very hard to do. What they did from from that amazing D line, to his great linebackers and his veteran corners back there. D'Amico Ryans has made a name for himself as a potential, candidate. People calling this dude, the next Mike Tomlin, and that's who Nick Caserio said that he wants to go after. D'Amico Ryans has certainly made a name for himself. He was drafted by the Texans, won Defensive Rookie of the Year, for the Houston Texans, was a captain on this team and the Philadelphia team. Bring D'Amico back in. Everyone in Houston is not going to, to say that was a bad hire. We jump back on the bandwagon, and now it's Nick Caserio is what do you do in free agency and how do you address it? Because we could talk, like, this is a huge decision, but once you make this decision, then you got to, determine what do you want to do. And I think in this offseason, for free agency, he said last year he wanted to hit a lot of, singles and doubles. Then then Patrick Storm asked the question, well, do you want to try to get some triples and homers? Should the Houston Texans go, big in free agency? I definitely want to add another edge rusher on the opposite side of Jonathan Gennard. That's because how much I like Kyle Hamilton in this draft. Bringing a veteran pass rusher, this team doesn't really have that. There's going to be some older guys out there who, could be serviceable. So I really like the idea of adding a edge rusher on the opposite side of Jonathan Gennard, who who was on pace for a 10-sack season. Safety is another, key thing that I think the Houston Texans need to look at. A veteran safety, right? If the Houston Texans decide to draft Kyle Hamilton, I think adding someone back there who's been there, maybe Devin McCourty, from the Eagles. From the Patriots, veteran guy, knows the system, obviously knows Nick Caserio. So I think those two are the main focal points I would think is for defense. I want to say, maybe also corner if Desmond King doesn't come back. He's someone that I think the Houston Texans, may need to because he played, damn good this season. The offense, however, the offensive line could be fixed. There's a great guard group, in this class. And not only that, there's multiple centers that I think, if you don't want to bring back Justin Britt, who you could sign, that will make this offensive line better. You need to start investing in Davis Mills. Because we didn't do that with Deshaun Watson. We didn't invest into the offensive line until it was too late. We invest in it, right now. We bring in these young, guards. You might have to throw back, at a couple of them, but I'm willing to do that for Davis Mills to develop into a quarterback. As far as wide receiver, this is where the triples and home runs want to go. Do you want to bring in a big name guy, someone like a Devontae Adams or a Mike Will, or do you want to go ahead and go a slot wide receiver, something I think Davis Mills needs because when Amendola was healthy, he was a playmaker. When Davis Mills needed a big time play, he did find playoff Danny Amendola. So I think the offensive line and maybe a slot wide receiver is what I think, the Texans need to, focus on. I mean, special teams, you got to get a new kicker. I think I'm done with Kaimi Fairbairn. But let me know what you guys think, guys. How should the Houston Texans approach free agency? As always, go Texans. You guys have a blessed day.